I actually believe that if you are locked in today, you'll probably never see the world the same way. So, I did what I'm going to teach you today. I just did it. I do mean it, but I just did the thing I'm going to teach you. Today I'm going to cover something called framing. Framing. So we always hear this word, but nobody really knows how to teach it. So we got to begin with the understanding of how our mind works. When you get a new car, or you get a new pair of shoes, or you go out and you have your own name, you will recognize everything that's supposed to be in your life out there in the real world. I buy a new pair of Adidas, I will see those Adidas everywhere I go. It's not that suddenly everyone bought the goddamn pair of Adidas. It's that my brain is now noticing it. I buy a new car. It's not that all of a sudden everybody owns the car, has the same color car. It's that now my brain believes it's supposed to be in my life and it notices it. This is called your reticular activation system. RAS for short. This is what tells you what to focus on. Your RAS tells you what to focus on. Framing is the art of controlling your RAS and how someone views something. This Sharpie right here, I've been using for 5 years. This is a Sharpie I used at my first ever seminar. It's already missing the eraser, but I've been using it for 5 years. Is the Sharpie more significant now that I've said that? Yes. To be honest, I have not been using it for 5 years. It's actually just bullshit. But the way I framed this Sharpie made it more compelling. It made you look at it through a different lens. That's framing. The way you frame something will make you more money or less money. The way you frame something will make someone like you or not like you. And then there's something called frame control, which we'll get into later in the call. And frame control is about how to control, literally, the RAS of the people around you and get them to focus on what you want them to focus on. This is the most powerful tool that someone could actually understand or learn, both for marketing, for sales, for regular communication, any conversation you're going to have. If you don't understand framing, you are fucking up. So, the way the brain works is we have a timeline. We have the past, we got the present, and then we got the future. Okay, the past is a pre-frame. We're talking about what happens before you're going to do the thing. Now, the past isn't actually the past here. When you're talking about a pre-frame, you're talking about the setup for the thing. In a moment, I'm going to teach you how to set up that's what a pre-frame is. It's saying, in the future, I'm going to show you how to do this. Or I'm going to paint a picture for you of something super awesome and compelling. I'm pre-framing what's going to happen. I'm telling your brain, this is what's going to happen, and this is the lens I'd like you to see this thing through. That's called a pre-frame. The actual frame is once you are in it. So if I say, I'm going to teach you the coolest thing in the world in about 10 seconds, that's the pre-frame. Here's the coolest thing in the world. Now we're in the frame. Now it's the thing, okay? That's the frame. The post-frame is, after you've learned this really cool thing, you're going to take it with you the rest of your life. Sounds almost identical to the pre-frame, but the only difference between a post-frame and a pre-frame is that the pre-frame comes before the thing, and the post-frame comes far long after the conversation. Like a post-frame would be, you're going to go home tonight, and you're going to think about us. You're going to think about how you and me had this awesome conversation and we connected. And it's going to literally sit heavy on you for the rest of your life because you know that this is a lesson that completely changed the way you see the world. That's a post-frame. A pre-frame is, tomorrow we're going to have a conversation. And I'm going to show you something that's going to radically change the way you see the world. That's a pre-frame. The frame is, here's a thing that's going to radically change the way you see the world. So far, everyone with me? It's pretty simple. Pre-frame, you're setting it up. Post-frame, you're setting up what they're to expect in the future. Okay? So, the pre-frame. How do we build a proper pre-frame? And this is where people are not compelling. This is why they're not good at speaking, because they don't know how to set it up properly. If I'm going to ask someone out on a date, am I going to be like, we're going on a date, bro? No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to be, hey, look, we'll go to a nice dinner. You're going to get food that's going to literally make you orgasm in your mouth, you know, and then we're going to fall in love. We're going to have the most romantic evening and time you've ever had in your life. That's setting up the frame. Now we go on the date and I take him to McDonald's and I'm not being nice. Is that in alignment with what I've set up? No, but they're more likely, okay, they're more likely to maybe laugh about it or be compelled to come on the date if I set up the pre-frame properly. I'm glad you're enjoying this video. I'm going on tour and I might be coming to a city near you. Now, the difference between this seminar and all the other seminars I've been doing is that for the first time ever, I'm going to be dramatically discounting a seminar ticket. Maybe you've wanted to come. Maybe you didn't have the money for a ticket and a plane ride, or you couldn't drive there. Well, for the first time, I'm making this extremely affordable because I want to change your life. Now, the problem is every single venue is going to be very intimate. It's going to be 100 to 200 spots, so they will sell out. Click the link in the description, see what city I'm coming to in your area, and make sure you book your ticket now. I'll see you there. So, it's all about creating an expectation. The frame is maintaining the expectation, and then the post frame is then creating an expectation of what's to come later on. Simple. So how do you build a pre-frame? There's actually two things you must build. One, emotion. What feeling am I going to get in a moment? And a result. What's the feeling and the result? So in a moment, I'm going to teach you something that's going to empower you. It's going to give you so much skill that you're going to be able to walk up to a random person and change the way that they view you. Change the way they view your product, your service, your sales will skyrocket. Everyone around you will find you to be way more charming and convincing. And on top of that, you're going to have a superpower that most people don't even know exists. That is a result, correct? Still compelling. Now, here's how you make a pre-frame even more powerful. In a moment, I'm going to teach you something that's going to make you an incredible communicator. It's going to give you more confidence than you've ever had in your life to be able to handle situations. You're going to feel happier because you're going to see how people respond to you. All of a sudden, everyone around you is going to look at you differently. They're going to look at you like you're some kind of celebrity or you're some kind of space alien that they're captivated by. And it's going to make you feel incredible. You're going to get more attention and more validation from everything around you than you've ever had in your whole life, just because of this one thing I'm about to show you. Notice how much more compelling it is when you tie it in with emotions. So far we follow, right? Who would want to learn that? Even though framing is the actual thing that I'm talking about. That's pretty sexy, right? Sounds sexy. So that's a pre-frame. You got an emotion and result. The frame, this is the part that is the hardest. So when you're framing something, you're pre-framing it. The frame, your frame can't break. So I'll give you a fantastic example of what frame control looks like, because someone who has bad frame control and isn't able to maintain the frame is telling me that their belief system is weak. They have a weaker belief system, they are lower in confidence, and they're not able to maintain a paradigm through an interaction. If there's any conflict, any resistance, they're not able to maintain the paradigm. So I'm going to briefly kind of explain to you what's happening all the time, no matter what, in a regular conversation. This happens with every human being that exists. If you ever talk to another person, this is happening. Everyone is fighting for control of the frame. The frame is the reality in which you and me, or whoever is involved, are going to be looking at the interaction or dynamic through. So, right now you see me in a lens. Jesse, I'd like you to pan that to the left for a second. I'm out of frame. I'm not in frame. All of a sudden, I'm in frame. That's frame control. Frame control, now follow me. Frame control is being able to capture someone's RAS and get them to follow me no matter what. So I'm controlling the subject. I'm controlling what you're thinking about. Now, what frame control looks like if someone's battling me, move the camera there. All of a sudden, you're trying to control it there. My job is to take it back here, right? And now I'll control the frame and bring it back here. So that's what frame control looks like. It's a constant battle of who gets to control the focus of the conversation, who gets to control the RAS. When you set up a pre-frame, You're actually stacking the deck. You're almost creating a wall that makes it impossible for anyone else to change the frame, because I've made it to where everyone who's listening is compelled to continue to follow my frame. My frame might teach you something. My frame might change your life. So you are interested in listening to my frame. And this is the power of pre-framing. If you pre-frame something, I make it to where you now are so interested in whatever it is I'm offering, whatever it is I'm talking about, that your brain says, I'm happy to be in this frame. This frame makes me feel good. Now, what if my frame is positive? And your frame is focused on, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I don't know how to do it, I'm going to be broke, I'm negative, nobody likes me, blah, blah, blah. Then you come around and my frame is like, you're fucking awesome. You're the shit. You're going to be super successful. You're going to have everything you've ever wanted in life. Whose frame do you want to live in? You're going to want to live in my frame. So your brain is going to allow you to start to see the world through my lens. So now I'm controlling your lens, your frame. Now, if I'm talking to someone and I want to make a sale, as an example, and they're thinking about how they're going to be broke, and I come into their life and I show them and empower them to realize that they can make way more money, are they going to buy if they're thinking about how broke they are? Absolutely not. But if I show them how they're going to make more money, and I control the frame, and I give them that perspective, and now they're focused on abundance because now they're in my reality, not in their bullshit reality, all of a sudden they're now more likely to buy. This is how I want you to see things. If you can control the frame, you can control the outcome. You can control the way someone sees the world, the way they respond to you, the way they look at you, the way they look at the thing you're telling them about. But if you allow them to control the frame, what you're doing is you're pulling from the reality that you want to achieve. So frame control is your ability to maintain the frame. Maintaining the frame is maintaining the lens on you. I'm keeping the RAS on me or the thing that I want them to focus on. I am getting extremely busy, but I still want to make time for you. If you want to change your life and you've wanted to speak to me or someone from my team to see how we can help you out because you're not sure yet, you're just getting familiar with what I have to offer, go ahead and click that link in the description right now and we will take care of you, help you go to that next level. So book a call with me or someone from my team, do it right now, and I will see you on the other side. As a hypnotist, I have to have extreme frame control. I have to be able to frame things perfectly. So what do I do? Well, the most important part of hypnosis, I'll briefly tell you, is actually not what you think. So when I first start trying to hypnotize people, I'm seeing these YouTube videos of this guy just knocking people out, just going sleep, 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 and everyone's just knocking out. Now, you might have seen me do this at a seminar. You're like, well, Marcel's doing this, and absolutely, I am fucking doing this. But it took me about 500 tries, maybe even 1,000 tries of just every day for 2 weeks, hours, 8, 9 hours a day of trying to hypnotize people to figure out something, a key component that I was missing. So I'm frustrated. I'm at UCLA. I'm visiting my sister. And I'm trying to hypnotize someone and I see them go in and then they come out and I'm like, fuck, I'm right there. Why can't I hypnotize someone? And I got super, super confident. I said, you know what? The next person I talk to, I'm fucking hypnotizing them. That's my frame of mind now, okay? You guys can see my frame. My RAS is no matter what, I'm hypnotizing them. So I go up to this person and I unconsciously did something different this time. I did something I'd never done up until this point trying to hypnotize people. I said something before sleep. I said, look, when I say the word sleep, I still use this to this day. When I say the word sleep, your eyes are gonna close, your body's gonna relax, you're going to focus on the sound of my voice. You're not actually going to sleep. You're just going to focus on the sound of my voice. I just set up a pre-frame of hypnosis. I just explained to them what is going to happen when I induce them. And then I go sleep, and this person just melted in my arms. And I was like, holy shit. I have to tell them what's going to happen before I do the thing, the frame, which is the induction of what's happening. I have to explain it. Now, here's how advanced the pre-frame can be. So now I want to actually take this a notch above. Now I'm giving you guys got the principle. I'm going to show you now how it gets more advanced. Okay, we're all following, yes? Okay. Imagine I'm sitting in a room with 10 people and I'm talking about a story, how I had a seminar and I started talking to everyone on the seminar and I'm explaining to them, how hypnosis is super transformational. It truly is one of the most powerful tools in the world. And people will come up to my seminar who've never been hypnotized before, who've never seen it before, who don't even know what the fucking word means. And they'll come up on stage or sit in their chair and I'll go sleep and their eyes were closed, their body's gonna relax, they focus on the sound of my voice, and before they know it, they not only feel incredibly euphoric and all the stress has left their mind, but before they even wake up, they could see that there's been a noticeable shift in their mind. Suddenly they're confident like never before. Suddenly things become possible in their mind. Solutions start flooding in. It's like they turned on an intelligence that they never had before. And this is the result that people get even when they don't know what hypnosis is. Then, if I go talk to you about hypnosis later, and I go to hypnotize you, I've already set the frame. Because I told you what's going to happen and what happens to people with a positive outcome and a positive emotion. So now you know what to expect. And this is another word for a pre-frame is called priming. We've all heard the word priming. I've now primed you with an expectation. You know what to expect. We're 15 minutes into this call, and we've already covered quite a bit. Are there any questions you might have right now? You're on a TV to my left, so I'm going to look over here. Are there any questions? Go ahead and unmute yourself, yeah.
On a sales call, how do you pre-frame someone so that they are excited to buy at the end of the call?
Fantastic. Look, most people pay in full, and we have a line out the door for this program. So the biggest thing is, before we let anyone in, I have to make sure that, first of all, we can get them the result. And second thing, I want to make sure that it's a good fit. We're really picky with who we pick, with who we let in, and we want to make sure that everyone who joins this is actually going to be all in. That's our biggest criteria. We want someone who's all in, who's ready to commit, who's ready to actually change their life. So I got to ask you some questions before I let you in. You ready? Right? I just told you what? Told you the criteria for coming in. I told you a lot of people want this. We're not guaranteed to let you in. You're going to have to earn it, right? So I'm setting up the frame now. Now, what's the frame? The frame is that I'm not selling you, that you're going to prove yourself to me, and I'm going to do you a favor and let you in. That's the frame. So framing is powerful. Everything is about framing, and I'll get into that shortly. But everything's about framing. So a pre-frame is really the setup. Now let's talk about the frame. Let's talk about how to come up with a frame that's effective, that's efficient. Why don't you guys give me a scenario? Now, I'll give you a great scenario just to show you guys how framing allows you to think outside the box, okay? So, assuming you have good frame control, which we'll talk about shortly, you're driving down the road, you got a brand new sports car. And this thing is one of the fastest cars in the world. And you're driving and you don't even notice because it feels like you're not moving, that you're going way over the speed limit. But because the car is so fast, you don't even feel it. Next thing you know, you see these shiny blue lights in your rearview mirror, and you're like, fuck. Your heart starts racing, you pull over, and a police officer says, do you know how fast you were going? Pretty much inferring you're about to go to prison. Like you're going to jail for reckless driving. So you have a few options. One, you confess. One, you plead for some help. Please don't arrest me. Or you get creative, and you think outside the box, and you have an effective frame. So most people are like, I really have to go to the bathroom. Is really having to go to the bathroom justification for potentially killing someone over the speed limit? I don't know if that's a good excuse. My wife's pregnant, but there's no one in the car. Oh shit, and she's not pregnant. That's not that good of an excuse, is it? So what's a good excuse? Well, what if someone was chasing you and you are scared for your life, so you're running away from them? And the police officer comes up to you and you go, thank God I found you. I'm so fucking scared. Someone's been following me in this car. Now what? Now you've changed roles. Now you're not the criminal. You're running away from a criminal, and he's your savior. He's here to save you. That, my friends, is thinking outside the box. This is how powerful persuasion can be if you understand framing. I notice you haven't filled out an application yet to speak to me personally. If you're making 6 figures or more this year and you want to talk to me so I can help you crush your goals, go ahead and click the link in the description right now. Fill out the application. First come, first serve. I'm going to be taking calls myself all week. So fill out that application and I will talk to you there.